Welcome to this episode of This Week in UCH. We have a lot to get through this week, from Distortion to absolutely insane challenge clears. So let's start with the level shoutout for this week will, for the first time ever, go to multiple levels. And so, the level shoutout for this week goes to the entire Distortion stage list. More specifically, those levels are Nocturne by Quaz and Bojack, Dimensional Breakout by Duck, Esker Gardens by Awesome 200, Automated Eternum by Royal Kiwi, and Limitless Array by Kiara. Nothing much to say about these levels except for them being absolutely beautiful and having absolutely god tier, unique and interesting gameplay. Congrats to all the builders I mentioned, absolutely fantastic job. Now, it's time to head into... This week we had the biggest tournament of all time with more than 120 players, with Bojack hosting Distortion. In this tournament there were 3 skill brackets, with Kino winning the beginner bracket and Zedit winning the intermediate bracket. In the pro bracket we had Fish placing 3rd after an absolutely amazing winner's run. In second, we had Croix, who stumbled early but was able to make it all the way to Grand Finals after a great loser's run. But in first place, re-establishing his dominance over the UCH competitive scene, we have Morphin. Now, let's laugh a little with this week's... For this week's funny discussion, we have an argument at its purest form. No subject, just agreeing or disagreeing with your fellow chatters. Absolutely glorious. Now let's continue with this week's... The answer to last week's question was... Righto! Congrats to Inkling Fudge, Flop, and Anonymous Testerbot for answering correctly. For this week's question, we all know that Duck performed an everyone ping last week. Who was the last person to do so before him? The first 3 people to answer correctly in the form in the description will be shouted out in the next UCH trivia. Now, let's move on to... This week was a very eventful one for challenges, with one of the most incredible coincidences I've ever seen. Chester... Aimbot XD and Evan XO all cleared cyanide on the same day. Now, let's move on to... That'll be all, folks, for this week in UCH. Remember to join the UCH Weekly News Discord and also the UCH Competitive Discord. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.